August 3rd. That's the bonus word of the day on November 6, 2020. What were you doing August 3rd? I hope you were listening to Nothing Personal. I hope that you were a subscriber. It's a bonus pod. Today's bonus pod is about August 3rd. My wait to see, our wait to see here at Nothing Personal is that Brodie Van Wagenen would not be the GM for one day under Mets' new ownership. I didn't say one game. Did I, Coca? I hope I said one day. Well, today, Steve Cohen officially bought the New York Mets. Being approved by the ownership committee, 7-1, that doesn't get you the Mets. Being approved by the owners, 26-4, that doesn't get you the Mets. Do you know what gets you the Mets? Pressing send on a wire transfer. Multiple billions. It happened today. The Mets and their old owners, Fred and Jeff Wilpon, and Fred's brother-in-law, Saul Katz, and others, sold the team to a group led by Steve Cohen. We learned today that Steve's wife's part of the group. We may find there's some other limited partners in the group. Steve Cohen closed the deal. That was today. He sent a tweet. He's new to Twitter. Now I'm with you on a bonus pod because merely hours later, the Mets had an announcement. Announcements. Ready? Here it is. The New York Mets today announced that Executive Vice President and General Manager Brodie Van Wagenen is leaving the organization. Good job on your first press release, Steve. Except he didn't leave the organization. You didn't give him a chance to pack his desk. Security came by. He was fired. But not just BVW. By the way, agents can't be GMs. They can try, like Scotty Boras, but they cannot be GMs. They've never run anything. They don't know how to run anything. They think like agents, and you cannot have that mental picture of doing whatever you can for your players. You have to do a macro job of leading an organization. But wait, it's not just Brodie. The statement continues. In addition, that's never good when your name comes after in addition on a press release announcing changes in an organization. In addition, here's the title you don't want, by the way. If you have a chance to be a special assistant, here's the title you want. Special assistant to the owner. Because that guarantees that you're good. Jack McKeon was the special assistant to the owner, Jeffrey Loria. He was good until being special assistant to the owner meant you're now special assistant to Derek Jeter. No bueno. That's not good. Special assistant to the general manager, that's not good. Because general managers, like managers and some presidents, they're hired to be fired. Omar Minaya, gone. VP assistant general manager. That's not good. Heading scouting and player development. Allard Baird, another former GM. Gone. Assistant GM. Systematic development. That's a cool title. Adam Guttridge. Bye-bye. Executive director player development. Jared Banner. They are all leaving the Mets. That's exactly what these men wanted to do, is leave the Mets and not have a job when the offseason has already commenced and budgets are tight all over baseball. Very few teams are hiring anybody. They didn't leave the Mets. They fired them. But here's the quote. I want to thank Brodie, Allard, Adam, and Jared for their contributions over the last 2 years, said Mets president Sandy Alderson. I especially want to thank Omar for his long and distinguished service to the Mets in many important capacities. Alderson has begun the process of building a new baseball ownership group. Wrong. Misleading. Fake. He's not begun. He's almost done. Steve Cohen knew he was going to buy the Mets approximately 1 second after he decided to bid on the Mets. Sandy Alderson knew 1 second after he had a deal with Steve Cohen that the following 4 guys at minimum would be gone, and he has started the process of replacing them. The only question is, how big a splash? Do you go big like Brian Cashman, who's not available till after 2021? Do you go big and call up Tom Ricketts in Chicago and say, hey, I want Theo? You think Theo wants to be the Mets president of baseball operations? You're damn right I did. He won a World Series with the Red Sox. Historic. He won a World Series with the Cubs. Unbelievable. If he finishes the trifecta, the holy trinity of World Series victories, Boston, New York, Chicago, forget Hall of Fame, Theo, and he does have a healthy ego, as do all of us in this industry, he will be known as the greatest GM in history. You think he's not ready to go? Here's the one question I'd have if I were Theo. Hey, Steve, how involved are you going to be in baseball operations? Well, Theo, I'm glad you asked. I'm the biggest fan ever of this team, and I'm going to make sure that we win a World Series. I'm going to give it my all. Well, thanks, Steve, but here's my question directly. How high are you willing to take payroll, and are you willing to stomach hundreds of millions of dollars of losses? Because if you give me an open checkbook, we could use a new catcher. Don't let him go to Philly. We want JT. How about George Springer in the outfield? That'd be pretty good. Wouldn't it be amazing once Noah Syndergaard's back from Tommy John if we could have him as a number 4 starter? Let's bring in Trevor Bauer. I can handle his personality. Let's sign them all. If Steve Cohen says, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. We can do it. You will get a big-time GM in that seat. What about Luis Rojas? Hold on, let me check again, Coca. I'm checking the statement again. Where does it say about the manager? Hold on. Gone. Definitely gone. Knew on August 3rd he'd be gone. See ya. Luis Rojas still has a job. Luis Rojas is officially the first manager for the 2021 baseball season to be on the scalding seat. It's not the hot seat, it's scalding. The Mets will sign one of the top free agents at least. Luis Rojas will be the manager through spring training. But if there is the slightest of, if there's the slightest of hiccups, that'll do it for Mr. Rojas. They're going to demand winning. They're going to demand no slow starts. They're going to demand a division championship. They're going to demand a deep run into the playoffs. Steve Cohen built his fortune not with patience, but with an unbelievable aversion to losing. There's nothing worse than losing money, but losing games is right up there. And when you're a new owner with a case of new owner-itis, guess what? That is the prescription that all Mets fans have been craving. Are people in the streets? I know we've got a bunch of producers at CBS Sports HQ, Scott in Stanford, Jack in New York, Jack in Florida. Disillusioned Mets fans, despondent Mets fans. Coke, aren't you a Mets fan? Didn't you swear that you'd never be a fan again? Well, guess what? This is your moment. This is your moment to celebrate, but just breathe, because I can't guarantee that your celebration will last forever, because new owners who have a full case of new owner-itis tend to make decisions with their wallet and not with their head. And the question that we will have to answer is whether Sandy Alderson, as a veteran, long-time, potential, if not certain, Hall of Fame executive, if he's got Steve Cohen's ear, Steve Cohen's trust. Remember, Sandy used to run the Mets. Steve Cohen used to be minority partner of the Mets. But does Steve trust Sandy enough to let Sandy and the people Sandy brings in to do their jobs? When you go into an offseason without anyone heading scouting, player development, you have to make good hires. When you go into an offseason needing a GM, you need to make a good hire. And if Theo is not available from Chicago and Cash is not available from New York, will they go a young Ivy Leaguer? Will they go full analytics? Steve Cohen is very high on analytics. something the Wilpons did not necessarily totally embrace. But did Steve Cohen watch the World Series? Did he see that analytics can run amok if you're the Tampa Bay Rays and cause in-game decisions to be made before the game, which can cause games to be lost? Will Steve Cohen insist on a balance? Money, analytics, eyes, heart, gut. All of this remains to be seen. Other teams in the National League East are despondent today. I remember as a Marlins fan, it was very clear. Marlins fan. I just call myself a Marlins fan, Coca. I'm all worked up on a Friday afternoon doing a bonus pod because I finally got a wait to see right regarding Brodie Van Wagenen. Not that I didn't think I wouldn't. But when I was running the Marlins, it was very clear to me that I wanted the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies and the Nationals to stink. I never wanted them to win a game. I wanted them to sign free agents and have them be overpaid. I wanted managers to come and go. I wanted the owners to get involved and make bad decisions, force bad decisions. If I'm in the National League East right now, I am concerned. If I'm the Phillies, I'm concerned they're going to steal JT Realmuto. If I'm the Braves, I'm concerned that our window of winning with our great young core of Acuna and Albies, that young core will not have time to mature into a World Series champion because the Mets are going to try to leapfrog them. If I'm the Nats, I'm concerned that I got my one ring and I'll never be back. If I'm the Marlins, I mean, I'm not the Marlins. I'm not going to tell you if the Marlins are concerned because they have too much hubris to ever be concerned about anything. It's an exciting time in New York sports. When's the last time? I think the Mets and Yankees played in the World Series in 2000 and, oh, God, Coca. Was it 2000? Of course, it was just 2000. Remember when Roger Clemens and Mike Piazza went at it? Remember how exciting it was for New Yorkers, Mets versus Yankees? Remember how the rest of the country didn't care? Well, now there's an opportunity to win back New York. One of the problems the Wilpons had all of those years is they always felt like the ugly stepchild of the New York Yankees. Steve Cohen will not be the stepchild to anyone, and he's going to prove it starting now. The decisions that are coming out today with changing of the guard, there's nothing to see here. It's not big news. It's an opportunity to do a bonus pod, breaking news on CBS Sports HQ, breaking news on Twitter. But for those on the inside and for those who've been listening and watching to Nothing Personal since we started, you know that this was a decision made long ago. Impact on 21? Wait to see.